of the first, let's call it professional speaking talks I gave, a very nerve-wracking event for me a number of years ago, and I was talking about referral strategy. And I had a simple model I used then, which was FIT, find, inspire, thank your champions. And I talked about all the different places you could find people who would refer you, how you could motivate them, inspire them to refer you, and then what you did to thank them. And one of the key measures for me about whether I've made an impact, whether I've engaged my audience, is whether people come and talk to me afterwards. And I was on a panel with a number of other speakers who had great reputations, and it's very nerve-wracking. I thought, no one's going to want to talk to me, they're going to want to talk to those people. But I actually had a queue of people coming up to talk to me afterwards, which felt great. And so each time someone came up and they thanked me for the presentation, I said, what part of it resonated the most? And I'm thinking they were going to say, oh, you gave me so many different ideas about where to find champions, or I'm now going to motivate people in a different way. But they didn't. One by one, each of them said, you reminded me to say thank you, and I'm not doing it enough. And so many referrals fall down because we fail to stay in touch. We fail to keep people in the loop in terms of the referrals that they've passed us. And it's so simple. It's so basic. You know, I talked about lazy, complacent and arrogant. This is ticking all of those boxes if you do not keep your champions in the loop with the referrals that they've passed to you. But we don't do it. And even if we do it, we do it in the laziest of ways. It is frightening how many bottles of wine and whiskey are given away every year to teetotalers. Or just people who don't drink wine and whiskey. But we just go through a gesture, thank you, thank you. It's an automatic mechanism, thank you, thank you. There's no deep personal feeling there, is there? I gave someone a tree once. Someone who had passed a referral to me, and there's actually two learning points from this particular circumstance, because this person had passed me a referral. It had turned to business. I said thank you. I said thank you when she passed me the referral. I said thank you when I had the meeting. I said thank you when the proposal went in. I said thank you when it turned to business. A year later it turned to bigger business. So it went from a couple of presentations to a one-year contract, one-year training program. I said thank you again. About 3 years later, one of the consultants on that contract left that company, became managing director of another business. And he immediately called me in and he booked me for a one-year program in his new business. And I wanted to go back to the person who gave me the original referral 3 or 4 years ago and say thank you again. But this had turned into a lot of business over the years, so I wanted a bit more impact. So a friend of mine, who's a mutual friend with the person who gave me the referral, had had dinner with her the week before, and I knew this. So I phoned my friend and I said, well, what was she talking about over dinner? What's she interested in at the moment? And my friend said, she's talking about planting trees in her garden. So fine, I went online and I ordered a tree. She came home from work, there was a tree in her front garden, not fully grown. I hasten to say, not fully grown. And I told that story about this time last year to a group of trade advisors. And one of them said to me, wow, you went to a lot of effort, didn't you? No, I didn't. I picked up the phone to someone I knew who had had dinner with her the week before. I said, what was she talking about? What's she interested in? She told me, and I went online and ordered it. That was all the effort I went to. But it's just paying attention to other people, but we don't do it. And I said there's two key learning points from that, because there is that personalise your thank you. Get to know your champions and do something that's relevant to them. But the second part of it is that I thanked her at each stage. I kept my champion in the loop. I said thank you when she passed me the referral. I gave her feedback when I had the meeting. I gave her feedback when I had the proposal. I gave her feedback when the proposal was accepted. I said thank you again each time they booked more business with me, and I said thank you again, by which time she'd actually forgotten the original referral, because this was a couple of years on, when it turned into another piece of business. Now, every time I said thank you, every time I kept her in the loop, how do you think she felt? Positive. And when people feel positive about something they do, what do they want to do? Do it again. Exactly. But we get lazy, we just don't say thank you. So that's the first thing that I wanted to cover.